Some more of the old heads in the WNBA who still can't seem to get with it and continue to just spread negativity across the league and also seem to never be happy about anything.
Just a few days ago, WNBA players and even some so-called authorities went after Caitlin Clark with the most absurd accusations, labeling her the biggest trash talker in WNBA history. It was laughable. Are we even talking about the same Caitlin Clark? Luckily, this time, their claims backfired spectacularly. It was like instant karma for trying to tear down a player known for her focus and professionalism.
There can be women who are older than you, better than you on your team, but if they see that you are a young star and you're doing really well, they will do whatever they can do to sabotage your success.
Clark kept completely silent, even when Angel Reese nearly dislocated her arm or when Dijanai Carrington delivered that brutal eye poke. She never said a word to defend herself through any of it. But now, people are trying to act like she's some constant trash talker on the court. The claim couldn't be further from the truth.
This is the kind of reputation that the WNBA starts to get, because there was also a stat that came out a few weeks ago that said Caitlin Clark received 17% of the WNBA's flagrant fouls this season, and 80% of those flagrant fouls were committed by the Chicago Sky against Caitlin Clark.
The accusations were ridiculous, but this time, Caitlin Clark had enough and decided to stand her ground. Let's face it, if she hadn't spoken up, these people would have kept twisting the story, labeling her, and trying to silence her however they could. Clark knew it was time to put an end to the false narrative.
When Caitlin Clark came into this league, that was the free promotion for the entire league. And I'm sorry, the product has something to do with it. Caitlin Clark is the most exciting women's basketball player that we have ever seen. Caitlin Clark has bridged the gap from the hardcore basketball fans who have been watching the WNBA for years.
The whole drama kicked off with a jaw-dropping article, headlined with accusations from WNBA players claiming Caitlin Clark is the worst trash talker they've ever seen.
Yet we have a player like Caitlin Clark who comes around, who shoots three-pointers further back than Steph Curry, and she's been doing it for 4 years in college. That is a product. That is a product that she brought to the WNBA that is all of a sudden exciting for many people.
Seriously, this is Caitlin Clark we're talking about. The same Caitlin Clark who's built her reputation by not engaging in on-court trash talk. Anyone who's followed her career knows how out of touch this claim is. It's a complete reach, especially given how she stays composed under pressure and focuses purely on her game, no matter how intense things get.
I don't understand why people can't just acknowledge that. What does it hurt for you to acknowledge that this woman has changed the game, is one of the most famous athletes in the entire world, has given you free promotion that supposedly is all you needed?
Let's get real about how absurd this is. Clark is incredibly competitive, but she's not one to run her mouth. She's laser-focused on the game, even when things get chaotic. And there's been no shortage of chaos around her. Time and again, she's proven that she's here for basketball, not drama. Yet somehow, we're seeing certain players try to paint her as the league's ultimate villain, as if her skill and intensity are something to be punished.
All the news surrounding Caitlin Clark and all of the dirty plays and hard fouls being committed on her, but I feel like it's gotten pretty absurd, and it's honestly downright embarrassing to see how the WNBA and the media coverage of the WNBA is playing out.
Let's break down just how intense things have become for Caitlin Clark. Picture June 12, 2024, a crucial playoff game, high stakes, everything on the line. Right in the thick of it, Caitlin Clark finds herself in a brutal situation. Dijanai Carrington, one of the league's toughest players from the Connecticut Sun, lands a direct hit on Clark's eye.
WNBA Twitter is currently crashing out over Black Eye Gate. I'm sure we've seen by now this play where Dijanai Carrington pokes Caitlin Clark in the eye. And after seeing this angle, so many people are saying that it was intentional, right? Dijanai goes up to steal the ball, and when she comes down, her hand goes like this, straight into Caitlin's eye. Do I think that this was a reckless play? Yes. Do I think that she did it with the intent to hurt Caitlin Clark? No. Do I think it should have been called a foul or a flagrant one? Yes. But what I'm having a hard time understanding is how people think that this could be premeditated in a game. Like, Dijanai would have to be on some next level serial killer type of agenda to be able to accurately poke Caitlin the way that she did during that play. She went for the steal, comes down like this, and she's looking away at the same time. I know this is heightened because DiJonai has said things on her Twitter about the fever and she's thrown little jabs toward Caitlyn, but we are overreacting on this specific play. Her and Caitlyn both said that it was just a basketball play, and yes, the refs missed this call, but it's not making anything.
This wasn't just a small bump. Caitlin Clark took a hard hit that would leave most players laid out. Clark, half-blinded and struggling to see, kept playing. This game wasn't just any matchup, it was the culmination of a season in which Clark had given everything for her team, only to be met with a cheap shot. And while Clark clutched her face in visible pain, the refs ignored the incident. No foul, no whistle, not even a second look. It felt as if only Clark and her fans noticed, while the officials acted like nothing had happened. But Clark pushed through, as she always does. For many fans, Clark is the reason they watch the WNBA, not the rookie class or anything else. Yet despite her calm, focused approach to the game, Clark faces an unusual level of disregard from officials and criticism from fellow players. Take Aya Wilson. She got a foul call last month after barely being touched, while Clark gets no calls, even for serious hits. This bias is so obvious it's almost laughable.
The women in the WNBA, the old heads, the ones who are petty, the ones who are jealous, the ones who can't get on the new wave, is what is continuing to hold the league back.
Clark's fans have had enough, fed up with watching her sacrifice her body on the court, only to be ignored by refs who seem indifferent. Dirty plays and hard fouls against Clark have gone viral, and some rival players openly celebrate when she's down.
Caitlin Clark is the reason that a lot of these new fans are watching the WNBA. And anybody saying, oh, it's the rookie class, no, it's not. It's Caitlin Clark.
It's upsetting for her fans, who also see players avoiding post-game interviews to dodge questions about her. The tension isn't new. Back in March 2023, during an NCAA game, Angel Reese got so rough with Clark that she nearly twisted her arm. Clark, visibly uncomfortable, chose not to react publicly.
I was slow to make that judgment that every player in the WNBA is jealous of Caitlin Clark, but after seeing what we've been seeing over the past days, weeks, and months, I changed my mind about that. And at this point, I'm not even just embarrassed of the way that the WNBA is acting toward their new superstar who has opened so many doors for so many of these girls.
Once again, the media spun it, suggesting Clark wasn't tough enough, while Reese brushed it off as just part of the game. Instead of questioning the physicality, critics attacked Clark's composure.
I'm also embarrassed of just us women. I know from personal experience, the better that you get, the more hate, jealousy, pettiness will come your way. And a lot of times it comes from other women being insecure in themselves.
The situation escalated when Alyssa Thomas accused Clark's team of racism, a baseless claim without any evidence but widely spread by the media. Clark, known for her focus and professionalism, stayed silent. She didn't issue statements or post on social media. Instead, she kept her attention on the game, handling it all with the poise that's become her trademark. Clark's fans rallied, using social media to defend her integrity and call out the lack of evidence supporting Thomas's accusation. They pointed out that while other players might get special treatment, Clark endures constant physical and verbal hits but keeps her cool. Her play, not her words, speaks for her. If anything, this unfair treatment has only highlighted the WNBA's inconsistency. When Kelsey Plum elbowed Clark in the ribs during a game in March 2024, Clark just took a breath and continued, staying focused on the game. This resilience, her calm, and her drive to win, rather than engage in petty arguments, have made Clark one of the most respected players in women's basketball. While others may see her competitive fire as trash talk, Clark is all about the game and winning. Her dedication and integrity stand out in every match, and that's why her fans stay loyal, supporting her through every challenge she faces both on and off the court.